Hey guys, what's up? This video today is going to be, we're going to get more into genetics and how to figure out what genetics will be whenever you breed two animals together. What we're going to do, hopefully the camera's focused where it needs to be. I'm pretty sure it should be though. Basically what I'm going to go over is a Punnett Square. We have our little thing up there, SaSobek's Punnett Square. This is the way to do it by hand to figure out what the probability of having an animal pop out is. So what we're going to do is go over first the major recessives that can happen in leopard geckos. Murphy patternless is the first one. You guys have all probably seen Murphy patternless. If not, I'm sure that if you ask, we can post some pictures and stuff like that. The next one, blizzards, which we're actually going to show that's what I'm going to use as my demonstration piece, is the blizzard recessive. The next one is albino, which there's 3 different strains of albino, which we've already talked about: the Tremper, the Bell, and the Rainwater. If you breed any of those together, you're going to get normal babies. And you don't want to do it. It's one of those ethical things that people don't, mixing of the lines you don't want to do. The next thing is the eye pigmentation. 2 eye pigmentation traits act as a recessive. The eclipse and the marble eye. I'll get into a little bit more their little quirks and stuff like that as we go over this stuff in more detail. But I want to get through the Punnett Square just so you guys have a more of an understanding of how it works and how you can figure out one recessive whenever you're doing genetics by hand. And from this is how we'll build so you can figure out what the probability is of getting 2, 3 different recessives, the codominant, stuff like that. I'll show you how an easier way to figure it out, but that'll be in to come episodes. We're going to take it one step at a time, do baby steps, and just so you guys get the hang of it. All right, the first thing, this is the square right here. What you're going to do on this side over here, which I'll actually put, is you want to make this designated for something. So these 2 blocks are going to be designated for female. These blocks right here, we're going to designate those as the male, okay? And then basically anything in this square, or these 4 squares right there, that's going to be your babies. So what we're going to do is I'll go over it first using a dry erase marker, and then I'll show you visually what the animals would look like. I'm actually going to use the pure species of Afghanicus as our normal, if you will, animals, so that you can get a visualization of what everything means. The other things that you'll hear a lot of are 100% het, 66% het, and 50% het. And I'm actually going to go through all these so that you know how we get those numbers and what they actually mean. Hopefully the light wasn't in the way there as well. Sorry about the glare off of the whiteboard. All right, the first thing that you want to know is, we'll go over this simply. Say our female is a wild type or a normal. We're just going to use the Afghanicus species as our demonstration piece, and then we're going to use the blizzard as our male piece that we're going to use. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to designate letters for these particular animals, and how we're going to do that is, for normal, we're going to go with a capital N, which I'm actually going to move these guys out of the way. I shouldn't have put them down yet. But these are the 2 animals that we're going to theoretically breed together, okay? So with the normal looking animal, what we're going to do is give it a designation of N, all right? And basically, each animal is going to have two different designations to it, which we're going to, a normal that is, we're going to call it not het for anything. It's just a plain normal. We're going to give it the designation NN, two capital letters. We like to use capital just because we know that that's dominant over the lowercase, which the lowercase ones, we're going to use B for blizzard. And because it is a visual blizzard, you have to have both of them being the lowercase. Because for these recessives to show up, you need to have both of them lowercase. So what we're going to do is our blizzard male is going to be bred to our normal female. And what you're going to do is just bring the B down on both sides and bring the N's across on both sides. So what you're going to get is NB, 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 NB. Okay? This right here, with the designations being NB, that means that they are 100% het for blizzard. So that's where the 100% het comes in, is whenever you breed a visual to an animal that is not het for the trait that the other one is visual for. I hope that makes sense for you guys. Tried to, get it as easy as possible for you. Okay, so what it's going to look like is you got your blizzard male. Hopefully these guys don't start running out all over the place. You got your normal female, and then your babies, because they have the big N there, they're all going to look normal, just like that. Hopefully you guys can see that. Everything looks like okay for you. This little one has a little bit of a stub tail, but no big deal. It's just demonstration pieces here. Okay, so basically all of these ones are carrying the blizzard gene, but they're not showing it. So that's why they are the NBs, okay? That is breeding a simple recessive to a normal or an animal that is not carrying that recessive trait. All right, we're going to put these guys back up just because you guys had that visualization. And what I'm going to do is clean off our whiteboard here. And say this blizzard trait right here is something that you want to reproduce. We'll go through the steps to reproduce it, actually. So we're going to erase all this stuff here. All right. Now, say you wanted to breed the male back to its back to an animal that is het for the trait. So what you got, or the male and female can be switched too. It doesn't have to be like this all the time. I'm just doing it this way so that you guys can understand a little bit better. So say the female was actually het for the trait. So she would have, she's not showing the trait, so she would be the big N and the little b. She's carrying the trait. Okay? So the same thing. You're just going to go the N's straight across, right here, and then the B's are going to come down and over. And now look what you got. These two animals, you guys have a guess of what these guys would be? Yeah, the big N's. So these guys are going to be normals. They're going to look normal, but they're going to be carrying the trait. These ones, since they're both BB, they're going to look like the male up there. So what you're going to get, again, we'll put our animals out. We're going to use this female was het in this situation. Even though she looks normal, she's still going to be het. And then we're going to have these two will be our normals that are hets. And then these guys are going to be showing the other trait. And this is just probability. So, so basically, 1/2 of breeding, we'll do this over here as well. We're going to do BB cross to NB, which is, you know, a visual to a het, you are going to get half and half. Half of the babies will look like the trait that you're going for, and half of them will be het. So that's where the half percentage will come in there. Or not percentage, but the fraction of half. Let's put these guys back away real quick. Yes, there was only 2 of those. Got to make it sure that none of these guys get out while I'm trying to explain all this stuff. That could be pretty interesting, just have geckos running around all over the place. Okay, that's if you breed a het to a visual. What we're going to do now is we're actually going to breed, I shouldn't erase that one actually. Say what you have are 2 hets for one of these traits. If you have 2 hets, what you're going to get, right here, we got N and B. And of course, again, the B's for the blizzard, the N's for the normals. Okay, what you're going to get now is NN, because all the N's come down. Actually, I should do this in order. And then the N's come across. And then this N came down, these B's come across, and this B comes, actually wait, sorry, just getting ahead of myself there. Alright, so this is what you get. You bring the B's down, which that's that column right there, you bring the N's down, which is that column there, the B's across, BB, N's across, N and N. Okay, so what you have now, this is breeding het to het, which we'll go over here and do NB to NB. Okay, and the probability of what you're going to get, and this is just average. I mean, it can vary. Just because it says like 1 out of 4, that doesn't mean that 1 out of every 4 babies is going to be like that. That means you have a quarter chance out of every single egg. So I mean, it's just like flipping a coin. You could flip a coin 6 times and get, you know, 5 heads, but you know the percentage is actually really 50-50 on if you get a heads or a tails. All right, so what you're gonna get is these. You're gonna get 2 normals, which that will be a quarter of them will be NN. You're gonna get 2 of them that are gonna be the NB, which that would actually be a half. Half will be NBs, and then a quarter of them will be BB. And that's probably a lot of glare there, so hopefully we can, you guys can see that. I'll kind of move around a little bit so that you can hopefully see what the heck I'm writing here. And actually, we'll separate these by the green line. And then same thing there. Okay, so what this is going to look like is we're not going to use our male anymore, which actually I didn't get a... Crap, that's the one thing I didn't get. We're going to act like that one was breedable, and that one was a het. We're going to act like these 2 are hets, and then what you're going to get is something that looks like this, which 1 out of 4 of these babies is the trait that you were looking for, okay? Which is this guy right here, the little bees. All right, what you're left with are these 3 right here. And since you can't visually tell the difference between hets or not, this is where the 66% comes in. Because out of these 3, that 2 of them are, or 2/3 of them are going to be het, and the other one's not going to be het. That's where this 66% comes in right here. Which hopefully it wasn't glaring. That's where this 66% het comes in. Is whenever you do het to het. 100% comes in whenever you're doing the visual to a het. Or actually, the 100%, you'll get 100%, half of them will be 100% and half of them will be what the trait is. You also get the 100% whenever you're breeding anything to the visual, basically. Hopefully I didn't get you guys too confused there. I almost confused myself. Okay, so we're going to put these guys back. to make it a little bit easier here, get all these guys picked back up. Sorry, this is taking a little while to, you know, move everybody around and stuff like that. All right. Now, you guys are asking, well, what about this 50% right here? How do you get 50% hets? 50% hets are caused whenever one of your animals is not het and the other animal is het. That's where the 50% comes in. You'll see this a lot whenever people are outcrossing their animals, maybe to get the albino strains out, or if they only had a het animal to begin with and they're trying to make more of them. So basically what happens is we'll just bring the ends down straight. We'll bring the bees down on this side. You bring the ends across, I should say. And then the ends across here. Sorry, it's a little messy. Okay, so what you're left with right here, you can see that all of them have the N in it. So these ones are all going to look normal, okay? Which, so are these two. The male and the female are going to look normal, one's just carrying the trait for whatever it is. But if you look, two of them are actually carrying the trait. So whenever these two, sorry I keep reaching over there, whenever these two are carrying the trait but you can't tell which animals are carrying the trait, you got 1/2 of those babies are going to be possible het. So that's where the 50% comes from, is whenever you cross normal animals to a het animal, you're going to get 1/2 will be het, which will be NB, which there, hopefully the glare's out of the way. And then half of them will be normals. So you have a 50-50% chance of getting it. I like to use these fractions for, especially whenever you get into later ones. Actually, I'm going to change this real quick here for you, so that it's a little bit easier to understand what that cross was. Half of the babies are going to be the BB, and then the other half are going to be the NB. So that's 50%. 50% chance that you're going to get that recessive trait to pop out. Okay. I did want to touch on the eye pigmentation as well. The eye pigmentation is a little weird in one aspect. And I'll actually go over that real quick with you as well. All right. Especially in eclipses and in a lot of cases the marble eye stuff. Just because they don't have the eye pigmentation does not mean they're not one of them. Some animals are actually born with the eye pigmentation trait and then it fades out. This is definitely in the eclipses. It can be in the marble eye as well. Usually with the marble eye it's a little bit harder to tell because there's a little bit less of the pigmentation. It's already broken up a little bit, so it's harder to tell in this. In the eclipses you can actually see it, and it's kind of hard to say this, but if you guys have ever seen the Abyssinian eyes, how they look like almost whiter than normal, that is because they are an eclipse that does not have the eye pigmentation in it. It's basically a lacking of the eye pigmentation trait. If you have a snake-eyed eclipse, you'll actually see how the part that doesn't have the eye pigmentation is actually whiter than normal. If the eye is totally like that, it's probably an eclipse that is just not showing the pigmentation. So whenever you're messing with these, it is possible to get these animals, but it not be showing it. So if you breed an eclipse to an eclipse and the animal, one of the babies pops out and it doesn't have the eye pigmentation, I would still treat that as an eclipse, but I wouldn't sell it as an eclipse because it's not ethically right to sell it as an eclipse because it's not showing the eye pigmentation. I think that's where the Abyssinian name really came from. Is it's a way to sell the animal as something more than just a het for eclipse, because it is more than just a het. It actually is an eclipse. It's just visually not the eclipse that most people think of. Let's put it that way. And then, I mean, the eye pigmentation traits, let's say that this is the eye. You can get animals that don't have any eye pigmentation traits. You can get some that have just, a little bit of area like that. That's a snake eye. You can get them half, or you can get them full. And there's really not, breeding two full-eyed animals together does not always make, full-eyed babies.